Yo, what is going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So how my own e-commerce store did over $1 million in a period of just 11 months. Now, as crazy as that sounds, this is absolutely true. Because if we go ahead and go on over to my Shopify store right over here, this store roughly started towards the end of November. Basically, November 18th, 2019 was the first day I actually got a sale on this e-commerce store. So from that day onwards until November 30th, as you can see right over here, we have done over $1.07 million in total sales. Of course, there were refunds done during this time period because of what was going on in the world. But exactly how was my Shopify e-commerce store able to do 7 figures in just 11 months? Was there some kind of special thing that I did? Or did I just get lucky? In this video, I'm going to be covering all of that, so make sure to watch until the end. But without wasting any more time, let's find out exactly how I was able to do this. The first thing you'll have to do in order to find any type of success with the strategies I'm about to mention in this video, however, is to destroy that like button down below until it turns blue and subscribe while pressing the bell notification if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos. I post weekly and that lets you stay up to date. Okay, hopefully you have done that. But exactly how did my Shopify store achieve such a feat? In order to kind of discuss that, we need to go back a bit in time. We need to go right back to the end of 2019 when I had to start this store. Basically, I had no other choice. And I say I had no other choice because during this time period, or prior to this time period, I was actually running another e-commerce store which was solely getting run on Facebook ads. And towards the beginning of October of that year of 2019 is when that account actually ended up getting suspended from Facebook. That was one of the worst days of my life, simply because it was my own e-commerce brand, and before that I had not really faced an issue like that. So it was sort of new for me during that time period, and I did not have Google ads running for that e-commerce store, nor was it really a type of niche that would do well on Google ads because it was in the fashion niche. So keeping that in mind, what I decided to do is I decided to start fresh with a brand new e-commerce store, and that is exactly when this e-commerce store came into play. So this started during the beginning of 2019, right after I spent a few days figuring out my exact strategy of what I wanted to do after that store ended up going to failure. But during this time period, I had already gained a lot of knowledge with Google Ads because I was simply playing on and off with Google Ads. I had not really achieved great success, but I knew the basic strategies that worked with Google Ads, and on a fundamental level, I knew how Google Ads worked. So what I decided to do is during that time period, I decided to add products that were season based because November and December, of course, it was Q4, when Christmas related products, holiday related products really started to take off. So I decided to put a mix of those products along with some products which had steady search volume. During that time period, I really looked at just a minimum of 20K monthly searches, but I was not really looking at high ticket products during that time. In fact, majority of my sellers were low ticket items, and hence if we go back in time all the way back to November, so right when this store was started, so let's even do October all the way to the end of December, we can see that during November and December, I only made $2,950 with 43 orders. That is a very low average order value right over there. And as you can see, every day I was barely doing even $70 in sales because that was my average cost of the product. In fact, those were the days I was getting 2 orders a day. So my average sale price was around $40. But that was what I was working with during that time, but really low ticket items because I did not know any better. I did not know if Google Ads was an advertising platform where high ticket products would work. So I was sticking more towards low ticket items. I was sticking to just 20K monthly searches on average. But for the ads specifically during that time period, I actually had just one general testing campaign running, not even 2. And that general testing campaign, I was running on manual CPC because since I didn't really have much knowledge, I was just basing it off of what I heard other YouTubers say. For a lot of YouTubers, this was the way to go. And that did not end up working for me at all, even though it was at such a low bid of 30 cents. In fact, if we go on over to that time period, as you can see, November 5th was when this Google Ads account was even started. During that first month, I had a 1.25 ROAS, so $658 spent for $822 in sales. Obviously, that was not the full amount right here because as you can see, this was a different number, but this was because I was also implementing Facebook ads winners, previous winners from my other store. But overall, it was a mess with Google Ads, not really profitable during this time period. So that was what was going on during that time period, and this kept on failing for me. I was not finding any type of success with Google. In fact, this continued all the way from the beginning of November all the way to the end of December. As you can see, during this time period, my overall ROAS was still very, very bad. 1.79, $1,831 spent for $3,280 in sales. Obviously not profitable. And during that time period, I actually had money problems. I actually had a limited budget because I had spent a lot of money trying to revive my other e-commerce store. That store was also starting to become unprofitable. So this was times when I really needed the extra cash. I could not just be wasting it like this, especially unprofitably. So these were difficult months for me during that time period. But that was the situation during the start of this store. But things really started to change quickly after I kept on doing a few things that I mentioned on my YouTube channel consistently, as well as my Google Ads Mastery course. If you're looking for that Google Ads Mastery course to kind of help you take your e-commerce store to the next level, the link is gadsmastery.com. It's also in the description below, but that can definitely dive more in depth into the strategies which helped me get to this point. But what was it like for me during peak performance? So peak performance really started for me after December 31st, during January and early February even. So if we look at the January 1st all the way to February 29th, you can see this big jump in sales, and this happened only because of Facebook ads, not because of Google, because that old niche store that I used to run, that was a niche store which peaked during January and February before Valentine's Day. Because of that, I already had a few winners from that store, which I needed to run during this time period. That's exactly what I did. I ran those old winners on Facebook ads, and that is what kept my store running during this time period. That's the only reason why I was able to do $56,000 in sales during that time. But also during that time period, my strategy with Google Ads had also started to change. I was investing more money into my ads, so I was starting to figure things out. I was also doing a lot of research on YouTube, Google, and so forth. That's how I came up with these two strategies right over here. So my main strategy was 2 general testing campaigns, one general testing campaign running at a 35-cent bid, the other one running at a 10-cent bid. This was when this strategy was really created. In addition to that, I was running branded search campaign because I had learned about that somewhere on YouTube. And I was running one smart shopping campaign, which had a mix of both losing products as well as winning products. This was what was going on during January 1st all the way up to February 29th. But if we go ahead and look at the actual data right over here, we can see what was going on. So January 1st to February 29th, the results were starting to kind of pick up and become better and better, simply because that product, which was a winner on Facebook, also started to sell on Google Ads. That's the only reason why I was able to get a 6.78 ROAS. But majority of the days were starting to become positive because I was staying consistent with my strategies. I was doing this every single day. I was adding products every single day, despite having very, very bad results during the beginning of start of this store. And also majority of January was also bad results, as you can see right here. But things really started to pick up in February and even late January when I started to get higher and higher ROAS because of what was starting to go around in the world during that time with all the lockdowns and everything. So more people were spending time indoors. They were really buying things. And that's when my store really started to take off. Now, come to the later portion of February and early March and even April, that's when I started to implement these things. So I implemented SCAGs for my winning products during that time period. I also went heavily into Facebook ads, retargeting, as well as some Bing ads retargeting. Now, for Bing ads, and along with the retargeting, I also imported my Google Ads campaigns because I thought that was the best way to go. But Bing ads was really not that successful initially for me. In fact, I wasted a lot of money. So majority of my success came from Google Ads. And end of February, Facebook ads had pretty much died down. So it was all mostly Google Ads. So if we look at February 20th all the way down to April 30th, we can see how the store had started to perform. So this is when things really took off. I really started to get a lot of success. As you can see, from February 20th all the way to April 30th, I had a 9.41 ROAS, and this literally changed for me overnight. Now, some people would look at this and would think that I literally achieved success overnight, but really only those that watch this video all the way till the end or even know me personally would know that I struggled so much for so many months in the beginning. This is how any business is. This is how e-commerce works. You do not find success overnight. Sure, there was a time when I went from doing about $776 per day in sales all the way up to $8,000 in sales. As you can see, on March 8th was the day I did about $800 in sales. On March 13th was when I did $9,000 in sales. So within that short time period, I literally achieved success overnight. But only when you dig deeper do you find out how many months I was struggling prior to that. So that is really when things started to take off for me. My strategies were performing really well. My products were also doing well because I was consistently adding them every single day. And I spent only $36,000 during that time period to make back $345,000 in sales. Absolutely insane results. That's when I really started to play around with different strategies, different general testing campaigns, SCAG campaigns, smart shopping, a lot of Facebook ads, and Bing ads. So that was what was going on during that time period. But in addition, I think one of the main reasons why I was able to find that kind of success is because of the products I had running during that time. I always say that product is king, and that is never going to change, simply because if I did not have the right products, there was no way in the world I would have been able to achieve those results, literally going from $700 a day to $9,000 a day in a matter of 3 days. But products really made the big change, and Google really found the right product to show the audience, which was popular during that time period. And of course, this product was related to what was going on in the world, hence why it was really selling so fast within such a short period of time. Those are not really normal results, but they do happen if you find the right product, if you follow my strategies both on my YouTube channel as well as my Google Ads Mastery course. But one thing I would like to say is if you're already at the $30,000 a month level with your e-commerce store and you're looking for somebody to run your Google Ads for you, just go on to my Google Ad Marketing Agency's website, yoromarketing.com, and book a call with my team to see if we can work together, because I do handle Google Ads for clients doing over $30K a month. The main reason why this store really started to pop off is because there was a mix of medium ticket products as well as high ticket products, meaning I had a lot of winning products which were around $50, but I also had several winning products which were around $350, and I would also go up as high as $500. That was just the overall range of prices I was finding a lot of success with, and I still believe to this day that that number right there is still pretty accurate. You want to be having a mix of both low ticket, mid ticket, and high ticket, of course leaning more towards the mid ticket as well as high ticket. But that was really what I was finding most success with. As for the website, I really took the time to hire somebody to make my website faster. I basically revamped my website, really tried to fix my conversion rates. But one thing you want to notice with Google Ads, you're naturally going to have low conversion rates. But during this time period, after February and early March and April, is when I was really achieving the most amount of success. So if we go then into March 2020 all the way up to June, July, and even August 31st, we can see that overall, just in those months, I did $555,000 in sales. Of course, it was $736,000, but $180K did go into refunds because, again, all of the issues going on in the world during that time period. But all of these things were really helping boost my results. But as I keep mentioning, there was a lot of stuff going on during that time period which made fulfillment very, very difficult. So exactly what did I do with fulfillment? Now keep in mind, during this time and prior to this time, I was heavily relying on AliExpress. This is when I learned my lesson after receiving that much in refunds. And this is when my strategy for using eBay and Amazon, or even doing branded dropshipping, came into play. This is when I learned how to even do it in the first place. So during this time period, after about March, April, and even during May, was when I was fully converging my store from doing AliExpress dropshipping to now doing eBay and Amazon dropshipping, while trying to find brands who do offer dropshipping. This is when that strategy came into play. But again, as I mentioned, a lot of the orders were really canceled during the time period because of what was going on in the world. But after that time period of March 1st to August 31st, then onwards, is when the store continued to get great results. So all the way up to the end of December 31st, we did another $393,000 in sales. And in fact, if we go back all the way back to January 1st and just look at all the way to the end to look at what the sales were during that entire year, we crossed well over $1.1 million in sales. So within that 1 year time period, I was doing over 7 figures with this e-commerce store right here. And the beauty about this store is, since it is run via Google Ads, it continues to perform that way simply because I have really honed in my strategies. And so far this year, we have already crossed $1 million in sales as well. So in total, if we look at the store right from the beginning of when the store was started, which was about 2 years ago now. So if we go back all the way back to November 1st, and we look at the date to today when I'm recording this video, which is November 13th, we can see that overall this store has crossed about $2.2 million in sales, 99% Google Ads. And I am very happy to be making a video about this store because this is one of my most successful projects, which stemmed out of a necessity, which stemmed out of failure that I achieved with my other e-commerce store. But all of these things should let you know just how powerful Google Ads is, how beautiful it can be once you start to find success with it. But you need to apply the strategies I mentioned on my YouTube channel. You need to also get my Google Ads Mastery course if you haven't, because it goes really in depth into everything I'm talking about right over here in this video. But again, if these things are not for you and you just prefer to give off control to somebody else who has achieved it and basically been there and done that, just go on my Google Ads marketing agency website, yoromarketing.com, and book a call with my team if you're doing over 30K a month, and we can look into that to see if we're a good fit. But that's pretty much it of my story as to how I achieved such success with this e-commerce store and what I continue to do. If you found any type of value in this video, make sure to destroy the like button and destroy that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.